one thing that I learned overall was that counting the number of hours I study every day is not a good way of judging how much I study.
You know that feeling, right? When you open a mock test and suddenly you realize that everything you thought you knew just vanishes. When no matter how hard you try, your score won't improve. When you see your friends are able to solve problems in seconds while you're still stuck on step 1. So if you have ever felt that disappointment, that self-doubt, that feeling that what if I don't make it, then trust me, you are not the only one. Every JEE aspirant feels the same. And here is the thing that some break under pressure while others rise above the same. And today we have someone who not only faced the same struggles but also was able to crack the code to AIR 1. So was it insane hard work? Or was it a secret strategy? Or was it sheer luck? Hello everyone, I am Neha Gulati and welcome to IIT Mindset, where you can think, prep and succeed like an IITian. I hope you're all doing well. So today's episode is not just a special one, but is going to be truly inspiring. As today we have an exceptional guest with us who went from being just another aspirant to one of the best in the country. Joining us today is Tanishka Kabra from IIT Mumbai, who secured All India Rank 1 in female category JEE 2022. She is here to share her preparation journey, the insights that can help every JEE aspirant turn their dream into reality. Hello Tanishka, welcome to the IIT Mindset. It's a pleasure to having you here.
Hello ma'am, thank you for inviting me.
So let's start with the big question. How is IIT Bombay experience like? Tell us everything about the mess, the buzzing fest and the academics.
So I'm currently in my third year at IIT Bombay, and it's known for its big fests. It's a very happening place overall. So the nightlife over there is great. You have the whole reason canteens function till 4 a.m. is because most people function at the night. And it's known for Mood Indigo, it's known for Tech Fest, there's Fin Fest. There's a lot of stuff overall keeps happening over there, and it's really up to you how much you want to participate in that, how much you want to focus on your academics. Essentially you have a lot of freedom over there, so it's up to you to choose where you wish to spend your time. Academics are decently heavy. I mean, it depends how much you want to focus on those. There's never a dull day over there, always something happening where you can go and join in. There's a lot of clubs, there's a lot of cultural activities, there's tech teams. There's a lot of sports facilities over there as well. So there's something to cater to everyone really. You're not just restricted to what branch you took and just your academics. You're not restricted in any way over there. Mess food, we survive. We survive, but essentially the vacations that I have at home, that is when I kind of obtain my share of nutrition for the semester.
So keeping the mess aside, seems like there's altogether a different life.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's amazing. So seems like you're having a great time of your life. So all your hard work actually paid off.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, let's rewind a bit and just let us know that when did your dream of cracking this JEE actually shaped up? So was there a defining moment, an inspiration, or someone who actually motivated you to pursue engineering?
So when I was in my 6th and 7th standard, by that time at least, I knew that I was good at science, I was good at math, and I wanted to do something where I could use those subjects. Around that time, my sister was preparing for NEET, and when she eventually got into MBBS, the stories she narrated about bodies and dissection table kind of convinced me not to try for NEET
so
at all.
So you're clear, you're not going to take medical
definitely clear things up that I definitely don't want to go for NEET.
Okay.
JEE kind of felt like a very natural choice for me in that sense because I did like math a lot.
Okay.
And that love for math eventually got reinforced when in 9th standard I first appeared for PRMO, that is the Pre-Regional Mathematics Olympiad. And the overall journey, giving that Olympiad, attending the camp over there, even if it was a lot of high-level stuff and even if a lot of it didn't make sense to me, it was a lot of exposure. And I feel like that kind of really opened my eyes to a lot of things over there. So that kind of reinforced my love for mathematics. So yeah, JEE was a very natural choice for me, and it made sense to do that, and obviously it ended up well for me.
So, in a way, you were somehow convinced and already prepared to take mathematics and engineering
Yeah.
eventually. Okay. Tanishka, like every topper has their own unique study style for maintaining consistency and efficiency.
Yeah.
So, did you also have a structured study plan? You have your study strategies, I would say, subject wise strategies in order to make consistency and improve your efficiency.
So one thing that I learned overall was that counting the number of hours I study every day is not a good way of judging how much I've studied, because I can totally just stare at a notebook for 3 hours and do nothing and learn nothing. What kind of really helped was just staying in touch with the sort of assignments we are given, and that was sort of enough to like keep a track of where exactly I am in my preparation. We usually had a bunch of assignments that teachers used to give us. In terms of subject wise, it used to be a little weird. So like some days I would be really motivated to solve chemistry questions, and some days I would be really motivated to solve math questions. And then I would kind of just ignore the other subjects, because I would be kind of decently sure that okay, right now I'm focusing on chemistry, but eventually there will come a day when I will focus on physics. So it's not like I'm just ignoring one subject completely.
Was there a favorite subject also, like everyone has?
I mean, depends on what exactly you're asking me for. So in terms of scoring, physics was my best scorer, really. Like I used to score well in physics. And for that, what I used to do is one day before the paper, I would solve a lot of physics questions. That would kind of really improve my speed overall. So physics would be like tuck, 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 done.
Okay.
Chemistry was interesting, but yeah, it was definitely daunting due to chemistry is infamous, and it's infamous for a reason. I didn't hate it, but definitely from an exam point of view, it was difficult to do. Mathematics I liked, but I couldn't solve those questions. There were a lot of lengthy questions, and that's why I had to. Yeah, that's why I had to like allot a lot of time to mathematics to be able to do that. And I often scored less in mathematics. So like sometimes my teachers used to ask me, Ki, you score well in mathematics Olympiads, but you don't score well in mathematics JEE. Like what's going on with you? But yeah, effectively there was that. Making notes helped, obviously. Like not just class notes, sort of very short, concise notes of things that mainly formulas that you want to remember. Like keeping a cheat sheet of formulas is really important. It's like sometimes there would be an entire chapter that wouldn't be making any sense to me, but if I have the formulas down, it will slowly start making sense. Like if you start solving some questions, it gives you some confidence, and the rest kind of naturally follows. Apart from that, for organic chemistry mainly, I used to also make audio notes. So I would kind of like, essentially those were sort of days when
like you used to memorize and then record this way?
I used to record and then listen to those when I would be sleeping.
That's a good way.
Yeah, I mean, so overall in those days, ours was a COVID batch, so 2 years we had online classes. There was a lot of screen time overall, and I used to get decently frequent headaches. So I decided that instead of making notes in notebook where I have to see, like at the end of the day when my eyes are tired, I can still use my ears.
Yeah.
So I kind of recorded some sort of reaction, like just very basic stuff like the reactant, the reagent and the product, and that kind of helped me a little bit in memorizing some very standard organic chemistry reactions, especially the 12th standard parts. So yeah, that I kind of enjoyed that a little bit.
So overall it's the quality that matters rather than counting the number of hours you're studying for.
Yeah, definitely. So like teachers used to have discussions as well of assignments that we were supposed to do, and those discussions are only fruitful if you've done those assignments. So whether you do that fast or slow, that is up to you, but you should ideally be able to cover as much as you can.
So if you're studying for those 2 or 3 hours also, it's just that what have you made out of it?
Yeah, true. So instead of counting hours, definitely what exactly you've achieved counts.
Okay, talking about the courseware now. So NCERT we all know is a must. But other than NCERT, which books, which other reference book or study material did you rely on?
So mostly, I was personally a lazy person, so I would only do whatever my teachers recommended me to do.
Okay.
Sometimes not even that, but yeah, that was totally my fault. So yeah, in physics, so I used to recommend H.C. Verma for basic concepts, and they used to give us questions from Erudov, like specific questions only, because a lot of Erudov isn't very relevant for a JEE Advanced, but some questions are for advanced perspective. So yeah, some questions he used to discuss in class, those I used to do. For chemistry, organic, they used to recommend MS Chauhan. it was very confidence breaking because there would be a lot of exceptions and a lot of new stuff to learn. But okay, I think even if it's breaking your confidence, I think it's nice to at least know that you've got the basics right.
It's like expanding your limits.
Yeah, true. And it's definitely daunting when you see a lot of exceptions while you're preparing, and it just feels very frustrating.
True.
But eventually it doesn't matter as much. So like if you can at least ignore the exceptions for that moment and kind of see that okay, I've got the basics right, exceptions okay, I can look at them later. But if I've got the basics right, that's good. And for physical, I used to do an Avasti, and again for those as well, the teacher used to give us some specific question that okay, you practice those and you'll be set. For inorganic, there was some book by V.K. Jaiswal. Again, that also had a lot of exceptions. We used to discuss, we used to cry, like why is this happening, but
Eventually that helped.
yeah, definitely. I mean, it's important. First of all, it's important to kind of see what sources you're preparing from. Initially, I used to try from random books, and then I realized that the data was kind of inconsistent. So just stick to whatever your teacher is teaching you or whatever the teacher recommends. Just stick to that. Don't go into a lot of books and confuse yourself. Just stick to whatever your teachers tell you. And yes, NCERT is very important. I did not pay a lot of attention, and I did lose marks in my mains for things that I could have prepared from NCERT, but I did not. So yeah, NCERT is important. And for mathematics, I also used to recommend some chapters from Sameer Bansal, I think.
So to all the JEE aspirants, along with other reference books, NCERT is the must. Tanishka, there's this one question that generally the students ask is that how can I consistently score 200 plus in JEE Main? So looking at your JEE preparation, were there any specific tricks, habits or strategies that you followed in your JEE prep?
Okay, for main specifically, I felt like in terms of actually like your mindset during the paper is very important, because for mains it's like one or two mistakes to kind of really change your rank and your percentile eventually. So yeah, at least for mains it's important to kind of maintain your accuracy, like solve questions with a clear and calm mind and make sure that what you're marking is accurate, because in that sense rushing and making silly mistakes is kind of very, very costly. For advanced, I felt like at least for me, like speed was more important, because in advanced there's a lot, like there's relatively less crowding in marks. I think that is also that is also a personal perspective really. Like some people feel that when they guess things, like when they are really speedy, then the accuracy really drops and that kind of costs them negative scores.
Anyhow, you'll have to maintain that speed.
Yeah, a little bit, definitely. One thing is that answer keys are definitely a little ambiguous, and sometimes questions are also ambiguous. In that sense, all you can do is pray really, and maybe look at previous year questions, look at archives to kind of see how exactly they judge such questions. Like you can't really, when you're in the middle of the paper, you can't really judge what's going to happen. So all you can do is do your best and then hope for the best.
So previous year questions is one thing that you are focusing on.
Yeah, definitely, and that is also true for advanced as well.
So how much did you actually focus on the error correction part?
Yeah, error correction is definitely important. Our teachers used to enforce that by encouraging us to discuss questions after the papers as well. And yeah, I mean, essentially, if you're just giving papers and not really learning from your mistakes, then there really isn't a lot of point for that paper. So yeah, discussing questions and discussing where you've gone wrong is important.
Yes, it is. So as many papers, previous year question papers you solve, you'll get that edge.
Yeah, true.
Okay. So now with the JEE April attempt being just 2 months away, so what would be your special tips and tricks you would like to give to the students?
Okay, so JEE Mains being in April implies JEE Advanced being around May as well.
Yes.
And that means it's a sort of precarious time for people who might be confused, like should I focus for mains or should I focus for advanced? In that sense, I think for people who want to focus on advanced, I think it's important that they don't lose track of advanced and like specifically prepare for mains like 1 week before the paper, definitely like only mains for that 1 week. But at least before that, don't lose touch of JEE advanced papers, because I did personally lose touch from that. I had my mains paper, I had also gone for ICHO camp, and I was sort of out of touch for those 6-hour papers per day. For mains, 1 week before mains, definitely focus only on mains. solve previous year questions, solve archives. If you haven't solved any of the first attempt papers, definitely do those as well, so that you kind of you get in the groove, you get in the habit of thinking along the lines of JEE Mains. And it is important to prepare well for that particular attempt, because giving that in sort of your best state enforces that confidence in you. So even if your first attempt went well, you're still giving a second attempt, might as well make it count, right? So be confident about it and prepare well for that. Yeah, especially for mains, because I was like, there were a lot of slots, and mine was towards the end, so I had a lot of papers before that. So I would usually just watch the video solutions of that. So like, since it's the final stage, firstly you want to make a list of all the subjects or all the topics that you're weak in. How do you get that? How do you get that list? Error correction. So you're giving your tests, you're making mistakes, and you kind of see that, was this a silly mistake? Was this a one-off mistake? Was this an exceptional mistake?
Type of mistake.
Or do you see a pattern that I'm making mistakes in this particular topic, so maybe this topic is weak and I need to revise it. So usually if there's like a particular topic that you see is weak, you kind of note it down and you kind of try to find time to maybe read a little bit about it, solve some questions. But essentially, you can't revise the entire syllabus for 11th and 12th at the same time, but you can look at some particular topics and make sure that if you prepared
those notes, you can certainly do that.
Yeah, make sure that your weaknesses aren't your weaknesses anymore. In the last 2 months, you also need to keep a good check on your sleep cycle, because mains is 3 hours you can pull through, but for advanced it's a 6 hours paper, 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the noon, and it's not just 6 hours, you have a break in between. You have to reach the center beforehand. That means you have to wake up early and then reach the center in time. That means it's a very long day, and most people do not have that sort of stamina, right, to actually be able to completely focus on that.
Time management actually need to be done at this point of time.
Yeah.
So looking back at your journey, was there any mistake or mistakes that you think you committed and the students, the upcoming batch or the aspirants should avoid?
One thing that I did was, like I mentioned, I ignored NCERT a lot, and that did cost me. Like during the paper, I could see that I ignored this particular chapter from NCERT, and it cost me here, especially for chemistry, inorganic chemistry. So yeah, definitely do pay attention to NCERT. Apart from that, distractions are a problem. For us specifically, I think we were very sheltered in general, but like especially after COVID, I think phones and social media have become a lot more popular among the youth. So yeah, that can definitely be one source of distraction and one source of problems during your preparation. In my case, my parents used to restrict me a lot. They used to also give me a lot of freedom, in the sense that if I was burnt out, I would spend a lot of time watching movies or stuff. But they kind of understood that, okay, this is her being burnt out and this is her just kind of wasting her time. So they used to keep a check on me in that sense, and I was glad that there was someone to kind of keep check on me.
But that was not a mistake, that was not waste of time. You were actually utilizing your time well.
I mean, it was a waste of time. There was no actual benefit from watching those movies, but okay, like if I was burnt out, and I don't know, it's just a good excuse, right? I'm burnt out and need some time to recover from that. One thing I was lucky was a sort of peer group that I had, and I think a lot of people don't get lucky over there. So if you're not surrounding yourself with the right sort of people, then it can be really easy to kind of just fall into a pit of self-pity and like ignorance. Make friends with people who have similar goals as you, similar sort of motivation and dedication.
To maintain that competitive spirit.
Yeah, that resonance and healthy competition especially, because then you're kind of discussing things and you're both trying to achieve good things together.
So overall, your distractions were one thing, and secondly, that you didn't pay much attention on the NCERT part.
Yeah.
Okay. So talking to you seems like that you had a very consistent kind of a JEE preparation journey. There were no ups and downs, or were there any?
There were definitely ups and downs. I used to have phases where I was doing well and phases where I wasn't doing so well. At the end of my 11th standard, I lost my grandmother to COVID, and that was a difficult time for our family as well. But my family was very supportive, and my parents tried their best to ensure that I was still attending classes, I was still giving my tests.
That's really become difficult at times.
Yeah, it did take an emotional toll, definitely, but because I had so much support from all of my family, I could still focus on my studies and not lose anything over there. And yeah, I think that is something I'll forever be grateful for.
Bringing back that rhythm
Yeah.
becomes challenging at times.
Yeah, and at that time, my friends were also very supportive, and yeah, it was good to have people to talk to during that time, because that is what kind of gets you out of that
Yes,
shell.
of course.
Yeah,
You need that support.
yeah,
So it's not what we always think, that it is just about the books, the mock tests, the discussions, but there are other factors also that play crucial role. Like you just mentioned, your parents' support, your friends' support, and the teachers, of course. Their supervision actually helped you reach where you are right now.
definitely. I didn't mention, but I enrolled in Akash when I was in 9th standard, and I was there for all of my JEE preparation as well. And I really appreciated how much attention I got from my teachers, because that level of personal attention to kind of make sure that I'm doing my assignments, because like I mentioned, I was a lazy person and I needed some amount of supervision. So I needed someone to kind of push me a little bit towards doing my assignments, or where exactly my scores are going up and down in my tests. I needed someone to keep an eye on those things for me, and I think my teachers over there did an excellent job over there. Overall, being there at Akash exposed me to a lot of Olympiads that I did not know about before at my school level, and that kind of really exposed my view of the subjects themselves. So it was nice. Our test schedule was excellent. We used to have very regular tests. So yeah, but even when you give those, you're kind of aware that these are just like coaching wallet tests. You don't actually, you can't fully force yourself to give it your all. So in that sense, I think Olympiads and my exposure to them was really helpful, because those are real exams outside of just my coaching institute, and they kind of simulate a very real exam temperament. So yeah, I think overall that exposure and everything, the teachers over there in Akash, they were really helpful to me, and I think that kind of developed my overall personality when it comes to giving exams.
It was a complete structured thing, you
Yeah.
would say?
Yeah, definitely.
So, like you mentioned the name of Akash here, so it just reminded me that you were the part of the COE batch.
Yes.
Do let us know something about your experience in the COE batch.
It sounded great overall. Yeah, I did get selected, and then COVID hit, so it changed the structure a lot. Even in terms of online classes, it was easy to kind of stay motivated, because the batch size is so small that even if I ask doubts, I know that it's going to be answered, and you still get the sort of attention that you would get in an offline environment. And yeah, in terms of class discussions and stuff, we kind of made up for it. We did not feel as if that offline online barrier is really
There was no
causing
such barrier or challenge.
Yeah, I think we managed pretty well. And having a small group of equally motivated people around me, first of all it kind of introduced an inferiority complex in me.
Really?
Yes, because in the beginning I felt like these people have sort of studied 11th ki concepts beforehand, and I haven't. So in the beginning, they would be solving questions really quick, and I would have no idea where to even start.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think I was one of the weakest students, at least in the beginning, especially in mathematics. So I used to work really hard for it. I used to give my tests well, and eventually I kind of caught up, especially maths. Like I mentioned, I felt that distance, but eventually I caught up, and I could, since I worked hard for it, I could actually understand things on the same level as them. And slowly my inferiority complex went away, and it became more of a healthy competition.
You change your complex into motivation, a source of motivation for you.
Yeah.
It worked it that way.
Yeah, definitely.
So how does it actually work, the COE batch?
So essentially, they kind of took some top students from different branches all over India. Like I was from Ahmedabad, but this entire thing, the teachers were all from Delhi. And we were supposed to be in hostels in Delhi, but it was online, so we all just attended classes from our home. And essentially the students were also from very different places. Our classes used to be online. We used to have different tests, the fortnightly tests at least. AIATS and the common test series used to be the same. But we also used to have workshops for Olympiads and stuff. And
So being placed with such students, with such batch, with such motivated students, with a common goal, it really helped you, I guess.
Definitely.
Alright. Have you heard about this Invictus program?
A little bit, and I think it's a great opportunity for students to learn under some excellent teachers, because the sort of teachers you have and the sort of study material you get kind of really plays an important role in your preparation, because you only have 2 years to prepare for it, right? And having good guidance along with very well focused material, it can really change the way you study for it.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Okay, Tanishka, that was really an insightful session. Thank you so much for being the part of this IIT Mindset series. I'm sure our JEE aspirants would definitely have got some insights, some tips and tricks, and a lot to take from this session.
Thank you so much for inviting me, ma'am, and all the best.
So I hope you liked this episode. And if you're still confused whether to go for IITs, NITs, or which engineering college you should opt for, then do subscribe to our Akash at JEE channel, where you get complete college review series on IITs, NITs, and other institutes.